There was a time when the noise of the world was deafening, a time when pain felt heavier than the body could bear, when anger and grief seemed to wrestle endlessly in the heart. In those moments, peace felt like a distant dream, something only other people could grasp, never within reach. But then a stillness arrived. It did not come in the form of triumph or conquest, but in a quiet whisper, a reminder that there was more than what could be seen, touched, or controlled. Faith, steady and patient, began to take root. At first it was fragile, like a candle flickering against the wind. Yet with every step forward, that light grew stronger, and in its glow, the darkness lost its grip. Faith does not erase the weight of the past. It does not remove the scars or silence the memory of pain, but it reshapes them. It takes the broken pieces and teaches you that they can be carried differently, with strength, with dignity, with peace. There is no need for fury when there is trust. There is no need for despair when there is hope that runs deeper than fear. With faith comes a strength that does not shout but stands firm. It is not about being untouchable, but about standing unshaken. Challenges come, as they always do, but they no longer have the power to break what has already been fortified within. Each new day is met not with dread, but with resolve. Each struggle becomes another chance to live with purpose, to walk with clarity, to breathe in calm. And as the years unfold, the storms of life are no longer enemies. They are simply weather passing over a soul, anchored in something greater. To live with faith is to walk forward unafraid, to carry peace not as a fragile gift, but as an unshakable companion. It is how peace is found, not through power, not through control, but through surrendered faith. It is a peace that does not fade, a peace that stays even in the darkest hour. There are moments in life when the shadows seem to close in, when every step forward feels like sinking deeper into the weight of despair. In those moments, the world does not feel like a place of wonder or beauty. It feels like a battlefield, where every breath is a struggle and every thought carries the echo of loss. The silence of night becomes louder than any noise in the day, and the heart begins to question if it can endure. It is in that darkness that the soul is tested. Anger rises, confusion takes hold, and the mind searches desperately for answers that never seem to come. You stand at a crossroads, not knowing whether to fight, to flee, or to surrender. That is the turning point, not when the pain disappears, but when the choice must be made. Do you remain trapped in the shadows, or do you reach for something beyond yourself? The turning point is not loud. It does not arrive with lightning or thunder. It comes quietly, almost unnoticed, in a moment of honesty. It comes when you admit that you cannot carry the weight alone. And in that admission, in that surrender, a shift begins. The darkness does not vanish, but suddenly a path through it begins to appear. It begins as something faint, almost impossible to name, a feeling that stirs quietly beneath the noise of pain and confusion. At first it seems like nothing, just a fleeting thought, a whisper in the distance. But it lingers, it waits, it calls not to the ears, but to the soul. In the midst of despair, when the world seems cold and unyielding, that stirring reminds you there is more than suffering, more than loss, more than the struggle that threatens to define you. It may come in the gentlest of ways, in the sound of a voice that offers comfort, in the silence of a prayer whispered half in doubt, or in the unexpected stillness of a single breath. It is not a demand, not a command, but an invitation to believe that beyond the storm there exists a strength not your own. This stirring does not erase the wounds, but it softens the edges of despair. It speaks of something greater than anger, greater than grief. It is the reminder that the heart was never meant to stand alone, and once you sense it, truly sense it, you cannot ignore it. It grows, subtle but certain, until it becomes a quiet force pulling you toward hope, pulling you toward peace. The change begins not with grand gestures, but with small, almost imperceptible moments. It is a quiet turning inward, a subtle realignment of the heart and mind. Slowly, the fear that once consumed every thought begins to lose its power. Anger, which once flared without warning, softens. Even grief, heavy as it is, begins to sit beside you rather than suffocate you. This is the internal shift. The moment when faith moves from being a distant concept to a living, breathing presence within. It does not erase the past or pretend that suffering never happened. Instead, it reshapes the way you carry it. Pain becomes a teacher, mistakes become lessons, and disappointment becomes a reminder of resilience. In its stead rises a quiet assurance that even in uncertainty there is a foundation that cannot be shaken. With this shift comes clarity. The noise of doubt begins to fade, replaced by a steady rhythm of confidence, not born from control, but from trust. Decisions are made with calm resolve rather than panic. Challenges are met with steady hands rather than trembling ones. The world does not necessarily become easier, but you become stronger in ways that matter, in ways that endure. Faith in this moment is not loud or flashy. It is a steady heartbeat beneath the chaos, a guiding hand, unseen but deeply felt. And in embracing it, you discover a peace that does not demand the absence of struggle, but allows you to walk through it with unwavering courage. Strength born of quiet confidence is unlike the strength the world often admires. It does not announce itself with force or demand recognition. It does not rush headlong into battles for the sake of proving itself. Instead, it is measured, steady, and unshakable, a strength that comes from knowing who you are and where you stand, even when everything around you is uncertain. This strength grows from the stillness that faith provides. When the storms of life rage, it is not the loudest voice that prevails, but the one anchored in calm conviction. Challenges are no longer sources of panic or despair, but tests that reveal resilience already within. You do not fear failure because your foundation is deeper than any setback. You do not need to strike out to prove yourself because peace itself has become proof. It's a proof of your self-esteem. It is a confidence that allows you to act with purpose, to speak with conviction, and to move with deliberate care. You begin to see that strength is not about dominance or control. It is about endurance, patience, and the courage to keep walking forward when the path is unclear. Every decision is tempered with thought, every action guided by inner calm, and every encounter approached with the quiet dignity that only comes from true faith. This strength does not falter in the face of adversity. It does not crumble when expectations are unmet or when the world pushes back. It is a steady fire, burning softly but powerfully, illuminating the way forward without the need for noise or spectacle. And in that fire, peace is no longer a fleeting visitor. It becomes a companion, a constant presence that cannot be taken away. With faith and quiet strength comes a life lived with purpose and resolve. Actions are no longer aimless, nor are decisions made from fear or doubt. Each step is deliberate, each choice guided by the steady hand of conviction. The days are no longer a series of challenges to endure, but opportunities to act with intention, to carry the lessons of the past into meaningful deeds, and to live in alignment with the values that now define the heart. At the living with purpose does not mean that life becomes easy. Struggles still come and obstacles still rise, but they no longer dictate the rhythm of the soul. Instead, they become moments to test resolve, to practice patience, and to demonstrate resilience. There is clarity in every action, a sense that even the smallest decisions carry weight because they are chosen from a place of inner peace and unwavering faith. Resolve grows from understanding that control is limited, but commitment is not. It is the willingness to move forward even when the outcome is uncertain, to stand firm when the world wavers, and to embrace responsibility without fear. This is the power of living with purpose. It transforms routine into meaning, hardship into opportunity, and doubt into quiet confidence. Through this lens, life is no longer simply something that happens to you. It becomes a path you walk with awareness, integrity, and determination. Each morning is a chance to act with clarity. Each encounter a chance to extend patience. Each challenge a chance to prove to yourself that peace, once found, can guide every step. The future is uncertain. Storms will come as they always do, and the road ahead will be filled with trials that cannot be predicted or controlled. Yet, with faith and the quiet strength it brings, these challenges are no longer sources of fear. They are met with a calm resolve, a serenity born not of ignorance, but of deep understanding. That peace does not come from avoiding difficulty, but from facing it with courage, rooted in something greater than oneself. Serenity allows the heart to stand firm when the world shakes. It tempers reaction with thought, anger with patience, and panic with measured action. Life's difficulties no longer dictate the mood of the soul because the foundation beneath it is unshakable. Even in the most chaotic moments, there is a quiet assurance that carries through, a belief that no storm, no loss, no setback can truly destroy the peace that faith has built. This calm is not passive. It is active, deliberate, and unyielding. It is the choice to meet each challenge fully aware, fully present, and fully committed, to walk into the unknown with steady hands and a steady heart, to know that even if the outcome is uncertain, the manner in which you face it reflects the depth of your inner strength and the clarity of your faith. In this way, every step forward becomes a testament not to what can be controlled, but to what can be endured, carried, and transformed. The future, with all its unpredictability, is no longer a threat, but a canvas on which peace, strength, and purpose can be expressed. And in walking that path, serenity becomes not just a fleeting feeling, but a companion for life, a quiet, steadfast guide through every challenge, every uncertainty, and every moment that lies ahead. In the end, peace is not something that is given or found by chance. It is something earned through the quiet work of the heart, nurtured by faith, and strengthened through every trial endured. It is the calm in the storm, the steady hand when the world trembles, and the light that guides each step through darkness. Faith teaches that even in the face of loss, uncertainty, and fear, there is a foundation that cannot be shaken. It reminds us that strength is not measured by force or noise, but by the courage to stand firm, the clarity to act with purpose, and the patience to endure with grace. With this faith, every challenge becomes an opportunity, every setback a lesson, and every day a chance to walk forward with unwavering resolve. And so, as life continues its unpredictable course, the heart that embraces faith carries a serenity that cannot be stolen, a strength that cannot be broken, and a peace that does not fade. In that peace lies the freedom to live fully, to act deliberately, and to face whatever comes with courage, dignity, and quiet confidence. It is in this way that faith does not merely bring comfort. It transforms the soul, shapes the journey, and turns even the darkest moments into a path toward enduring peace.